Yeah, I've never experienced anything quite like Hurricane Irma. I mean, we're talking about wind speeds of over 200 miles an hour, and it's given me a lot of respect for nature, a lot of respect, for just how powerful and the effect of the wind, and it literally sort of devastated the British Virgin Islands. I mean, the head of the Royal Marines, who I met yesterday, said that he's been to war zones and he's never seen anything quite like it. And there's not a tree left standing. There's very few houses left standing, and it's it was ferocious. The local community have been physically impacted. They've lost their houses, they lost everything, but their spirit is as strong as ever. I mean, I haven't found one local person who was complaining about themselves. There was one lovely 13-year-old girl who set up a school, not under a tree because there aren't any trees, but in the shade of a bit of a remaining wall. There are people who sort of set up, hot meals for a local community and so on. So everyone's been rallying around, trying to create some kind of shelter, out of tarpaulins, so that if and when the next hurricane comes, they are protected. I think the international community have been incredibly generous in getting water and food to the British Virgin Islands. We now need to start thinking about shelter, so maybe tents, tarpaulins, more. We need to start thinking about solar generators, and we're turning our attention to trying to get people basic protection, so that they've got some kind of roof over their head. We've been doing as much as we can. The most important thing has been to get clean water to the local community, and we've managed to get a desal plant going, and we've been ferrying water to our neighbouring islands. We've obviously used my voice to get out there and appeal for help, and help has been forthcoming. We have a sailing boat. We brought Neckar in full and laden with supplies. Well, the immediate worry is that tomorrow night we have yet another hurricane forecast to hit the British Virgin Islands, or go very close. Generally in the Caribbean, there is no more than one hurricane every 10, 12 years. We've had 3 so far this year, and a couple of near misses. And I'm here at the climate change talks. I've come away for a couple of days to go and thump the table and say, look, enough is enough. The world, we've all got to pull together and turn our world into a world run by clean energy, or else we're going to find that year after year, these events become worse and worse. I opened the door a little bit and looked out over Neckar Island and saw the horrendous devastation that had been caused, and I just remember immediately thinking, that sort of anger sort of just came over me at climate change deniers, and just came out all the more determined to get out into the outside world and say, let's all rally around to get on top of this problem. We can do it if we all work together. Well, we're lucky enough to have a foundation, Virgin Unite. We also have a foundation within the British Virgin Islands called Unite BVI, and we've put in a lot of resources ourselves, and our friends and the global sort of community have been very generous in their giving as well. So the immediate thing was water and food to make sure that and shelter for people, and that will continue for maybe a couple more weeks, and then we have to turn our attention to rebuilding a country that has literally been completely devastated. I mean, with most hurricanes, maybe a little bit of Antigua or a little bit of St. Martin or a little bit of Barbados is affected, so the rest of the country can rally around and help. But with the British Virgin Islands, the whole country has been devastated, and so it's going to take a massive task to rebuild, and we will be very much part of that. If people want to give, I think through something like Unite BVI or Virgin Unite, that they know that 100% of the money will go to the front line, because we pay for the overheads of those charities, and obviously any donations would be great. But then all of us need to just rally together to campaign on getting on top of climate change on a global basis, so that events like this do not become recurring incidents on a global basis.